So you
I'm
have
not
had
with, by the way, I'm not with Steiner anymore.
Correct.
I
Steiner
have,
Agency.
Collectible Exchange and the Steiner Agency, but Collectible Exchange is my new company. I've been started that 2 years ago. So Steiner was great, and not been there. I haven't been there for 2 years, and not sure what's going on with that brand at this point. But it's hard because it's got your name.
I know
Got my
is.
name. But Collectible Exchange and is a really cool company that's kind of like an eBay where you can actually buy and sell. I wanted to do something for all the collectors out there, solve a problem that so many people have so much stuff. They don't know what to do with it. They don't know what it's worth. And Collectible Exchange gives people that opportunity to put stuff up, sell it. We help people auction it and that sort of thing. So you'll see a lot of cool stuff, over 100,000 things. I never had more than 35,000 on Steiner. I have over 100,000 items on Collectible Exchange and growing like weeds. So we're very excited about this. We're going after eBay and doing it right. But anyway, let's talk about whatever you want to talk about. And hopefully I can shed some light on a few things.
Yeah, there's just so many different areas that we could go. I think one of the things that you wrote in Standing O that, stood out to me, and I've heard you speak about it before, is the two most important books in your life. Tell us a little bit about your thoughts on those two most important books.
Well, what's interesting is we had this thing, and I always have this thing about two things, which is, one, if I say, I got one thing to talk to you about, it doesn't seem like a lot. One seems lonely. Three things, if I say I got three things, oh my God, it seems like it's too much. Two is the right, two's a couple, three's a crowd, one's lonely. So I have this whole thing around two things, and we had this whole thing around the office that, don't go to somebody with more than two things. So, when I talk about the two things, like two most important books in your life, your date book and your checkbook, where you spend your time and where you spend your money. And it's always good to go back and take a look and kind of see where your priorities are, because those are two of the more valuable assets, particularly your date book, where you spend your time and who you spend your time with. And how can you improve on that? Because I think right now we're all a little screwed up. We're all going through a keyword called transition. And transition is, there are pinnacle times in your life when you go through a change, and whether you like it or not, when you first went to college, when you graduated college, lived on your own, right, when you decided to get married, and when you had maybe a kid, moved into a house, first job, first promotion, first job where you had to manage people. Those are all transition points that are extremely stressful, even though a lot of those transitions are good transitions. I haven't talked about the transitions where somebody, close to you dies, you get fired from a job. I mean, there's a lot of different transitions, and it's really, you got to really be careful about your transitions. So where you spend your time, especially in this day and age now, where we're going back to the old normal, and the old normal is now feeling not normal. That we have to get up. We can't just be doing Zooms. And I think a lot of people are under a lot of anxiety and pressure right now because they're trying to now have to get out and be accountable. Your parents want to see you, your friends want to see you. Maybe there's a vacation, and yet you kind of got used to, being able to work along a certain way, pretty much from your house, no traffic, nobody really breathing over your shoulder. And now, bosses are asking you to come back to work. So, your date book and how you manage your book is really, really important. And when you look back and see where you've spent your money over the last year, I think you can learn a lot too, because, the last year definitely got us a lot more hyper-focused about what was important, what we really need to spend money on, what we need not to spend money on. So there's a whole blog, if you go to brandonsteiner.com, about two things, where I have a list of about 50 things, 50 of these two things, like there is no reason to worry, by the way. There's only two things that can happen. You can plan for what's happening, and you can deal with what just happened. Those are like my two things about worry. I think, if you want to worry, go to a bar, get a drink. Worrying is a waste of time. But, if you're going to worry, worry about your plan for what's about to happen, or worry about dealing with what just happened. And then there's always a spiritual or a real solution for every problem you have if you just get outside your bubble, which is really my concern right now in the time we live in. We've been much more in a bubble, less likely to share, whether it be at the gym or whether we're at the office. where you just have casual conversations about certain things that are going on, and you haven't been able to have those conversations. So a lot of stuff has been brewing. So for no other reason, getting out and just getting some conversation with friends and people that you know about stuff is going to be very helpful for your mindset, even though it may not help your bottom line. So I can't emphasize enough of time management.